Why, you gotta be some kind of great cop. Come in here all by yourself. Where's your partner? Where's your partner?
Well, guys, the other one was upstairs. She was sweet. I took her out.
I bet that really pisses you off. You probably don't think I'm a very nice guy, do you?
Buddy, I think you're slime.
See, I got this problem. Cops don't like me, so I don't like cops. Well, give the man a hand. He's all yours.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
This causes it. This causes it. This causes it. Information overload. All the electronics around you poisoning the airwaves.
You are listening to the High Tech Low Life podcast, a cyberpunk media retrospective. High Tech Low Life contains language and themes not suitable for all audiences, as well as spoilers for the content being covered. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome back to the High Tech Low Life podcast with your hosts, Eric and Josh. I'm Eric. Josh was shot 17,000 times and is currently being rebuilt in a lab to be the ultimate super podcaster, robo-podcaster, and he'll be back next week to shoot you in the dick with his great commentary and in-depth analysis of whatever we're covering next week. Until then, it's just me introducing the second half of the Robocop episode. Now, dystopia probably happened, but I'm recording this in advance, so I can't talk about it. I also can't give you any recommendos because I recorded the other one yesterday, and I haven't watched anything new since then. So, this is the intro you get. I'm sorry, and also, I'm not sorry. So, anyway, I'm just going to jump right back in where we left off, and we were about to talk about I don't know, probably some lefty commie bullshit. You know how it goes. And, yeah, see you next time. Or rather, I'll see you in 2 minutes. I'll see you next week. Whatever. Bye.
And then we go back to back into OCP. Miguel Ferrer's having a fun conversation in the fancy executive pisser. He's now the vice president of security solutions or some department. Doesn't matter. He's talking shit on Dick Jones, and Dick Jones is taking a shit.
Yeah.
It's a real, it is a really weird setup that any normal movie you would bounce off of. Because the shot you see when you go into the executive restroom, the shot is from right beside the leg of a guy on the shitter.
Yeah.
In a fancy bathroom. And then it just follows. It's so weird. Any normal thing, you would not be emphasizing the fact that there is a guy with fancy shoes taking a shit right now. You would be the camera would be positioned in an unobtrusive way. And then, the door opens and Dick Jones walks out.
Well, yeah, you kind of know the whole time that Dick Jones is...
It's clearly telegraphed because of the way TV works.
It's also great how when the guy that Miguel Ferrer is talking to is in such a hurry to get out of there, he clearly pisses all over his pants, and they show it in close-up for a brief second.
Yeah, the other executives know what's going on and bail immediately. Miguel Ferrer's got nuts and calmly washes his hands while Dick Jones walks up behind him and delivers a beautiful fucking monologue about how you fucked me over. You know, I used to be a shitty junior executive like you, but we always had respect. You have just now called me a fucking asshole to my face. And I had a guaranteed military sale with Ed 209, renovation program, spare parts for 25 years. Who cares if it worked or not?
Yeah, that's an important message.
Yeah, it's a nice bit of dystopia there.
One thing that's really struck me watching this and Gremlins 2 is how I feel like there was a time as the tech industry came on the rise that we thought tech was going to solve all our problems. Almost like we almost thought it was magic. But I feel like in the 80s and 90s, they had a better grasp on how shitty technology is. And they really predicted much better than we did later how crappy technology would be.
I think the interesting thing about that is how, yes, in the 80s, they were like, oh, this is all going to be bullshit. But what we're talking about in terms of both Robocop and Aliens 2, or Gremlins 2, is we're emphasizing how shitty the humans of corporations are.
Right.
And I think we as a society sort of, well, initially as online tech people in society, bought into the propaganda of the tech companies being, they're not this type of like, you know, yuppie shit,
right,
where they're wearing 3-piece suits. They're just after the tech and improving our lives.
They wear hoodies. They have cool mottos like "Don't be evil."
Yeah, exactly.
Move fast and break stuff.
They wear a black turtleneck.
Yeah.
And like John Lennon.
No, they fucking sold us a bill of goods on that.
Yeah.
And instead, the fact is, yeah, just like this fucking guy, it doesn't matter if it works. They will pump it out to make the money.
It's just a slightly different flavor.
This line is one of the most prophetic parts of what is a really pretty prophetic movie.
Yeah, just the way he delivers. Who cares if it works or not?
Yeah.
So anyway, he's pretty much directly threatening Miguel Ferrer, and this lets us know that as opposed to him thinking of Miguel Ferrer as just a guy who, you know, took advantage of, you know, a momentary slip, Miguel Ferrer is on his fucking radar as an enemy that needs to be destroyed.
Yeah.
Then Robo dreams of death.
Oh, yeah.
And by that, I mean he has a gif where it looks like he is experiencing the little death.
An orgasm?
Le petit mort. Yes.
He's coming?
That one gif of him just going, Yes. Robo is in his little recharging chair, and we see a bunch of flashbacks to him being killed, or to Murphy being killed.
And he's remembering faces and sounds, and
he's remembering the whole goddamn thing in a terrible way.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the techs had never assumed he would dream, because I think I didn't mention, they did talk about how they were going to wipe his memory completely. Just give him a full wipe before we booted him up as Robocop. So theoretically, he shouldn't be having this, but
very
apparently,
common cyberpunk thing. Memory wipes have to be involved somehow on so many cyberpunk things.
Yeah, apparently something sticks around, I guess.
It always does.
Yeah.
Whether it's Robocop or Johnny Mnemonic, there's always something lingering.
Yeah. Could be a trike, going down a hallway. Could be your brutal murder at the hands of Leslie Claret.
Could be either one of those.
And Leland Palmer.
Those are actually the only two things it could be.
Yeah. So Robo basically gets up and charges the fuck off. And then Lewis runs into him in the hallway, and Lewis is like, "Hey, are you fucking Murphy? Don't you remember me? I'm Lewis. I was your partner." And Robo's like, I got to get out of here. Somewhere there is crime happening.
Which is true.
And he takes off. And then Miguel Ferrer, in the next scene, Miguel Ferrer starts yelling at Lewis because she was spotted talking to him in the hall and is kind of starting to get blamed for him freaking out, even though him freaking out happened before that.
Yeah, nothing to do with her. What did you say to him? Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, let me make it real clear for you. He doesn't have a name. He's got a program. He's a product. Is that clear? Like, yeah, we're really just staring into it. Like, on the one hand, I think Verhoeven's satire is very heavy-handed.
It is, yeah. But I mean,
on the other hand, it's so good.
Also, like,
clearly subtlety does not work with society.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. We've learned that it requires sometimes a heavy hand for people to fucking get it.
That's I don't know, maybe weeks or maybe even months ago on the show, I was talking about, or we were talking about how some TV shows are using properties to smuggle messages in. I think the context was specifically Andor, right?
Uh-huh.
Where I was taking the position that, like, and Andor's really good. It's doing a really good job of smuggling its message of fascism is bad and resistance, resistance is important, et cetera, et cetera. And I think you said something along the lines of, but I mean, should we have to do that?
Yeah.
And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Like, we need to use Star Wars to smuggle those messages in, and they should probably be less subtle about it because people are very fucking stupid.
Yeah. That also leads me to something I've been thinking about a lot recently, which is a tangent, but
feel free.
How it's become profitable for corporations to allow those messages to be smuggled in, and how maybe consuming them on TV is giving us that feeling of power that we don't necessarily have, and is not actually accomplishing anything other than, momentarily satiating our desire for change. Yeah.
Yeah. There are a number of really effective and efficient quotes at that I'll fail to remember because I'm 3 beers in. But basically, it is impossible to turn the weapons of capitalism against itself.
Right.
Because they will co-opt any message, of real resistance. I think this is a really important conversation to have, if only within your own brain. I don't think honestly, I think Robocop is maybe the best context in which to have this conversation.
Satire like this in general makes you feel better. And when you get it, when you know that Robocop is about corporate corruption and police, and it's not just about a cool robot shooting guys in the dick, then you feel satisfied, like you've done something.
It is comforting to know they are doing a joke and I get the joke.
Right. And that accomplishes nothing, really.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
I mean, it accomplishes less than you taking a bag of groceries to your local food pantry. Yeah, I don't know. It's a part of the dystopia we live in that I guess we hadn't accounted for, how they can sell us our own fucking rebellion in such a way that we don't actually need to rebel.
Well, I'm going to say one more thing that will then we need to get back to the actual program and we cut nearly all this. But I recommend Antonio Gramsci, who was a Italian Marxist who was imprisoned through the 30s and eventually died in prison. But he wrote a bunch about how what we now understand, he wrote a prophetic amount about what we now understand as the media selling rebellion to us, and about how society is structure and then superstructure, and how, say, in his examples, usually the church was moderating and rechanneling what should be revolt and rebellious instincts against economic systems and, the bad shit in the world. So Antonio Gramsci. So very important.
Amshi?
SCI.
SCI, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a really important Marxist theorist. Okay, where the fuck were we in terms of this movie? Okay, Robo died. Somewhere there is crime happening.
Yes, that's where we are.
Okay, so Robo says somewhere there's crime happening.
Man, we really are not that far into the movie. Okay, this is probably going to be a two-parter.
Yeah, I feel like sorry, audience, but I hope you like it.
I mean, I could even do 2 parts in 1 week, but
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't want to put out a 3-hour episode.
Okay, so Murphy goes out on patrol. Lewis gets chewed out. And while Robo's on patrol, he sees Emil holding up a gas station. The punk guy from Clarence Boddicker's gang.
With the bad hair and the cheek beard.
It's not even bad. It's just upsetting.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like it's not even a poor execution. It's an terrible idea, incredible execution.
Yeah.
If you're trying to upset everyone who sees you. So he's holding up a gas station to, get a little cash and fuel for his bike. And then Robocop
making
shows
fun of
up.
the nerd reading.
Yeah. You a college boy? Yeah.
Once again, showing this divide between intellectuals and the really, really dumb criminals.
Yeah, he is. Emil is deeply dumb.
Yeah.
It's honestly a real tough fight as to which one of Boddicker's henchmen is the dumbest.
Yeah, they're all in various ways.
Yeah. I don't we'll get to it later. So Emil's holding up this gas station. Robo sees him from the highway or the overpass. Robo shows up and says, his classic line, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." And Emil says, "What the fuck? We killed you." And Robo is looking at him, says, we play the recording of "We killed you" a couple of times and just locks up.
Yeah, Robo's glitching pretty hard at this point.
He really is. But he still manages to get the job done. He fucking shoots Emil's bike as he's racing away. The gas station's going up in fucking flames afterwards. It's one of the biggest goddamn explosions. One of the biggest goddamn, real explosions I have seen in a movie.
It's big. And you can see Robo out, in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a dummy or what, but it looks like he's actually there.
It's the main Robocop stuntman whose name I can't remember.
Wow. It looks cool.
Yeah, it really does. It's a gigantic practical explosion.
Yeah.
And one thing that that the writer put in and they didn't get a shot of because the second AD, I think, was shooting the specific shot that they needed. It was very specifically a shell station that was being held up in the script. And one of Ed Neumeyer's, the writer's points was, I want the S to go out on the sign just a little bit before the other letters. So it's just Robocop with neon hell behind him and everything in fire.
Now I want to go back and see if that happened.
You can see just a split, a fucking, I don't know, 1/10 of a second of it. Apparently the AD who was shooting that didn't like it and thought it was heavy-handed. I think they should. Well, yeah, it's obviously heavy-handed. It's also hilarious and perfect. I mean, Robocop is in hell.
Yeah, literally and figuratively.
Yeah. So he ends up beating the shit out of Emil after Emil wrecks his bike.
I thought killed him. He doesn't kill him, though.
It's very reasonable to assume that Emil dies here, but he doesn't. He ends up grabbing Emil and is Who the fuck are you? Who do you work with? All that shit. And we move on. Then Robocop goes to apparently the police info center, uses what turns out to be a giant fucking spike on his fist.
Chekhov's data spike.
Yeah. And finds out that he was, in fact, Murphy. And finds out his police record and that he was killed in action. And then goes to an empty house for some flashbacks of his wife and child.
One real quick thing I like to say, how interesting it is that I think Verhoeven did get across this emotional journey that Robocop is taking.
Mm-hmm.
Even saying this sounds ridiculous, considering Robocop, whatever.
Even saying this sounds ridiculous because the movie is called
Robocop. Yes. But keep in mind, the guy doesn't talk. He only speaks when necessary. He has a metal visor on, so you can't see his fucking face. He can't do any face acting. And they have to get across what this cyborg is going through. And I think they do a good job by the actions he takes. And you start to feel for the cyborg, and then you feel a little stupid because it's a guy in a really obviously plastic kind of shitty looking suit. But then you're like, but no, it's a good story. And this guy really is going through some shit.
Yeah, it's honestly, that's kind of why I think this is Verhoeven's masterpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, it's honestly, and I feel slightly embarrassed at myself for saying this, but this movie, as clearly dumb as it is, I reiterate, it is titled Robocop.
Yeah.
It is plastic armor and lots of machine guns and a battle in a cocaine lab.
Oh, man.
Okay. It is like I think it's the best job you can do at this movie. Like, it is executed at the highest possible level. You couldn't. I don't think anybody else in the history of film could have made this movie this effectively as this Dutch fucking weirdo who is obsessed with the idea of the historical Jesus. I mean, like, it's kind of perfect. I don't think he could have done this 5 years later or 5 years beforehand.
Yeah, it is all the cheesy things you remember about it and that it's got a reputation for. It is that, but it's also really good too.
It's also a perfect object.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like if you're, this is the...
So Josh, let me posit this to you.
Okay.
Fuck, marry, kill, Robocop, The Thing, Gremlins 2.
Ooh.
Talk
Well,
about a Sophie's choice.
Let's see. I think Robocop would be a good provider. I think The Thing could do some real weird stuff in bed.
You are not wrong. Although, fuckable gremlin is on the table.
Good point. And I mean, honestly, I could have some really good conversation with Brainy Gremlin, on the couch after dinner.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is a tougher question than it initially seems.
It can't be answered in one episode of a podcast, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so Robocop's found out he's dead, and he used to have a family. So then he goes off to the club.
Where we're all fam.
We're all fam, and this is another beautiful, as we've seen before, and we will see again, a beautiful example of a fucking nightclub.
Every cyberpunk movie has to have a nightclub scene.
Just about, man. They're playing PFP, which is a Ministry side project, if I remember right.
Paul F. Pumpkins.
Yes,
Sorry.
Paul F. Pumpkins. With vocals by fucking Ogre from Skinny Puppy.
Nice.
And Robocop beats the shit out of Ray Wise, who is playing a moron in this film.
Oh, so great. And
he goes to kick the metal Robocop in the nuts. The dude is definitively, like by definition, Robocop is made out of metal.
he knows there's no nuts there. He shot him off.
Yeah. Oh, it is beautiful.
And he's also
Like-
dressed immaculately, like
Oh,
classic 80s rolled up sleeve sport coat. It's great.
Fucking dude wears only black. He's got this third eye necklace thing he's wearing, and like fucking, I don't know, he's got 3 angled belts on for some reason. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love all the members of this gang have like their own personalities.
It's honestly really impressive how well the bad guys work in this, because
They're not
all
just
have their-
thugs.
No, they all have their own fucking gimmicks.
Yeah.
They're all very well defined, and like I said, it actually warms my heart a little bit that in 1987 we had a movie where, set in inner city Detroit, focused on endemic gang violence, where it wasn't just a bunch of black dudes.
I feel like the Asian guy could have got a little more development. Maybe that was left on the cutting room floor.
I think that might be the case. Also, he died early.
Yeah.
Like relative to the other gang members. And actually one of the producers, the same guy, John Davidson, who voiced Ed 209, apparently that was one of his notes when he first read and bought the script for the movie was, I need you to define the gang members a little more. I want you to make sure, like, make a point of making them not all black, because I don't want to make a racist movie.
That's good.
And yeah, Davidson also, like Joe Dante, came out of the Roger Corman American International Pictures, like, sort of movie-making factory.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ray Wise is incredible in this, because for the audience who has not taken my advice and watched Twin Peaks like 15 times by this point.
And the castmates.
Yeah.
Hosts.
Ray Wise is a guy who nearly always in movies and TV is a smart guy, or at least a guy who has it together.
Yeah, frequently evil, but always
Like,
smart.
He looks like an executive that, well, obviously we're all bribing everybody and, we're responsible for the murders in that third world country, but, hey, who isn't? Ray Wise
He was in
plays
Gilmore
such
Girls.
Yeah, he was. A couple episodes. He was also... dude has an incredible career. Apparently, one of the things... he has apparently been a souvenir of his career collector for, like, since the beginning of it.
Uh-huh.
He's just like, wow, I got to be in a movie. Can I keep that? So he has, like, the necklace that his character in this movie wears, and, like, the suit he gets blown up in.
Oh, nice. Great suit.
And he has just, like, storage units full of shit from his career, which is kind of charming to me.
He was in Atlas Shrugged too.
He was, yes. I saw an interview with him about that. He was like, it was a paycheck.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he plays something that I don't think I've ever clocked him playing before. Just a moron.
Yeah, he's just dumb. You're kind of the second in command, sort of, but
yeah, he's clear. He's a handsome dude, but just kind of a dumb idiot, just slow. And Robocop takes him out like nothing. It's just not even an issue. So he takes Ray Wise off for interrogation, because he got to Ray Wise through Emil, etc. And Robo's looking for information on Boddicker and how he can catch Boddicker. So we cut to Bob Morgan, Miguel Ferrer, having the coolest possible party you could be having in 1987. You've got cocaine. You've got 2 prostitutes or models. One of whom
I think he said models. In the bathroom, he said he had a date with 2 models. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
He could fucking be lying.
Yeah. One of whom is wearing a green leather miniskirt.
It's a great scene.
It's the coolest party of all. he's doing coke off their tits, and then the doorbell rings, and he's like, "Oh, that's got to be the champagne." And he's also in the most modern house you can imagine.
Yeah, it's
in 1987.
By 1987 standards, yeah.
Fucking white cubes on the outside, inside everything is either leather or chrome or glass
or a TV screen, yeah,
or a TV, yeah. He goes and answers the door. And it turns out, oh shit, it's Clarence Boddicker. And Clarence Boddicker says one of the immortal lines of cinema.
One of the best delivered lines. I laughed so hard.
Like I said earlier, Kurtwood Smith is playing with delivery in this film. Like he is doing a Frank Sinatra level phrasing of every line he is given. Like just such a, there's no way you could do that line better. If possible, Eric, maybe you could insert it here. Otherwise, I'll just say, bitches leave.
It took everything I had to not bring it up before this part because I knew that you would have a spot for it. But yeah, his delivery of bitches leave is so good.
It is. I don't know. It's a transcendent piece of cinema. And apparently, according to a couple of things I saw, Paul Verhoeven and Joost, I can't remember his name, the cinematographer, they're both fluent in English, but they aren't entirely fluent in colloquial English. Apparently Verhoeven kept referring to the ladies in the scene as, okay, so then the bitches will do this. Maybe not understanding that bitches is
not
derogatory.
A nice way to call women. Yeah.
But apparently both of the ladies in the scene were like, oh, he was just very sweet. So he sends the bitches away and then shoots Bob in the legs. And plays him the first DVD ever on movies, like 10 years before DVDs were a thing. He inserts what is clearly a DVD.
DVDs existed in 87.
Fuck, they did. No.
They didn't?
Absolutely not. Laserdiscs did.
Huh.
DVDs, like the first DVD that, I think maybe Twister was the first DVD.
Really?
Yeah.
That had
feel free to look it up, but it was not a thing.
DVD Twister, according to some people. Well, this is Google AI saying according to some. Okay. Maybe they just heard you.
All right, I apologize. It was clearly a lie.
Oh, you're right though. It was the first DVDs. Once again, AI overview released in Japan in November of '96, the United States in March '97. Wow, feels like it was much earlier than that.
Yeah, like when this movie came out, Laserdiscs were just barely a thing,
but CDs were a thing.
So
the making the jump from CD,
the
DVD
movie posits,
not unreasonable.
Anyway, he puts a DVD in, and it turns out that it's fucking Dick Jones, and Dick Jones is being a prick, and says basically, "Hey, buddy boy, Dick Jones here. Guess you're on your knees right about now, begging for your life. Pathetic." You don't feel so cocky now, do you, Eric? You know what the tragedy is here, Eric? We could have been friends, but you wouldn't go through proper channels. You went over my head, and that hurt. But life goes on, the old story. Fight for love and glory, huh, Eric? Helps if you think of it as a game, Eric. Every game has a winner and a loser, and I am cashing you out, Eric.
I don't like using my name.
I consider that for an opening quote.
Makes me uncomfortable.
Which is why I swapped your name out for Bob. Yeah, so Kurtwood Smith shoots the shit out of Bob's legs with his Desert Eagle Magnum with a silencer on it, and then very erotically removes the pin from a science grenade.
Yeah,
with his tongue.
Yeah,
and blows Bob Morgan up, and we feel bad about it because we really liked Bob Morgan.
He was a great bad guy. He was a great scumbag. Scumbag Hall of Fame.
He really is. God, fucking Miguel Ferrer. R.I.P., man.
Yeah.
So
We need to create the Scumbag Hall of Fame too, by the way.
we really, that's a good idea. Maybe we should just make that another podcast we do. Just like every episode is focused on an exciting new scumbag.
That would be really probably done already, actually. I mean, it's the thing is people go after big villains, and villains aren't like big bosses aren't as exciting as scumbags.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bob Morgan dies, and we go off to the cocaine factory.
Oh, fantastic scene, all-timer in action movies.
It really is, and there are some really specific reasons for that. So Boddicker and his chums show up to this cocaine factory. They're being hilarious assholes to the apparently of Italian distraction, given that he is being he gets referred to as a guinea.
Yeah.
Owner of the cocaine factory. They are saying, hey, we want your cocaine at cheaper prices because we're going to be the only goddamn game in town. And this guy is understandably like, yeah, I don't really do discounts, and you're in my factory and I have like 50 guys with guns here. And again, Kurtwood Smith just chewing on lines. Guns, guns, guns! Hey, I don't know why we're stressing about this. The Tigers are playing tonight! I never miss a game. And it's just, he is fucking chewing scenery. It's insane and beautiful. And then Robocop shows up, kicks the door in, and starts shooting the fuck out of people.
Kicks the very bendable door in, yes.
Yeah.
It's like bulging in like a cartoon door.
Yeah. The thing about this scene is that it is largely done in a bunch of really quick, like fairly short cuts. Okay. There are like 50 guys in this factory. They're all shooting at Robocop. Robocop is shooting them between the factory workers and Boddicker's gang and etc. It's not that it was shot in quick shots. Yeah. It's not that it was shot in quick shots because Paul Verhoeven wanted to make it really popping and, action-y and, move the camera and stuff like that. It's because Paul Verhoeven insisted on having the guns hidden in piles of cocaine, the fake cocaine.
Yeah.
Which fucks up the guns, so the vast majority of the shots, they would only fire like a bad guy would grab a gun, shoot at Robocop, and you'd only get about 3 shots before the fucking thing jammed.
Interesting.
So that is why this scene is, even though it's again still not very cool in terms of how you shoot an action movie, it does have a little bit of energy to it simply because Paul Verhoeven couldn't get shots for more than a few seconds. Anyway.
So it was accidental. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought it was a very good action scene. I was thinking like I literally hard-boiled tea house shootout came to mind as I was watching it. I don't know.
Oh yeah. Fair. I think it's a whittle in terms of what people are doing in the scene. It's very static, but
all the exploding bags of coke and
the exploding bags of coke and the fact that they couldn't get more than like 2 seconds per shot.
Yeah.
In terms of editing does a lot of the work for it, but hey, that's movie magic.
It is.
Also, I wanted this scene specifically to talk about how Robocop moves.
Okay.
Robocop, well, Peter Weller playing Robocop has a really specific way that he moves that is kind of hard to describe.
But has been copied
a billion times since then. Yeah. And it is all not accidental, but unintended. So when Peter Weller got the part, he called up a guy at, can't remember if it was where he went to school. It wasn't Yale School of Drama, but one of the big fancy drama schools, a movement coach, and said, okay, this guy's going to be this character is going to be part fucking robot. So all his movements should be fucking just smooth and precise. And the specific thing he said was like a snake, right? Just smooth and always moving and knowing exactly what's going to happen. But once he got to set and they had the suit finished, the suit by, again, Rob Bottin, who did all the Thing stuff, he found out it didn't work because the suit is the size of a truck.
Yeah.
It has these giant fucking shoulders. One of the reasons they hired Peter Weller in the first place is because he's a skinny dude. Apparently, one of the initial casting suggestions was Schwarzenegger, and Rob Bottin, the guy who made the Robocop costume, said, well, yeah, you can hire Schwarzenegger if you want. Do you want his head to look like the ornament on a Mack truck? Because if we're trying to blow his shoulder, like putting a suit on a guy that's already that big,
it wouldn't work.
Is going to look totally insane. And like his head's going to look like it's the size of a fucking walnut on top of a normal person's torso.
Yeah, you want less clothes on guys that look like that, not more.
Yes.
Put the robot inside.
Yeah. Which they very successfully did in another Orion picture in 1984.
Yeah.
So he found out once he got to set and they tried the suit on that he can't move anything like he had spent 6 months practicing moving.
That's too bad.
So they basically called it, and shot a bunch of non-Robocop related shit for a week or two while he went back to the drawing board and came up with this. Like, he has this really, I wish I could actually describe it. I feel like an idiot now having brought this up. Robocop moves. The way he walks.
He moves like Robocop.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows what that means.
Yeah, and he does, because Weller was unable to do all the cool poses, smooth action shit. He does all these weird poses when he's doing stuff like firing his gun. One of the big shots, one of the repeat shots in the movie is he goes to fire his Auto 9 at somebody in his right hand, and he turns his torso to the side and his left hand goes up behind him like he's a fucking fencer or something. And that is one of the incredible accidents of this movie, that it worked out that way, and it looks so cool. Yeah. Even though accident, unintentional, whatever, unprepared for.
I mean,
so
what he was trying to do, I feel like is something they would do with CGI nowadays, and it wouldn't be as cool.
Yeah, and I mean, it's what they would do with CGI these days.
I mean, I don't know. We haven't watched the Robocop remake. Maybe they did do it.
That's actually an interesting question.
I doubt it. His walk became so iconic, they probably had to capitalize on that nostalgia.
One of the movement coach, whose name I can't remember, he has some ridiculous Hungarian name, said, like, basically the conception was, okay, so for this movie, your face is, your head is just a place where your face happens to reside. They put your brain down in your chest somewhere where it would be armored. So your torso moves, and then other things move around it, which is, Anyway,
a lot of thought.
It looks very fucking cool. It's deeply iconic. And it's most on display in this scene where he's doing all these poses and moving across a big room.
I mean, he's the Terminator in this scene. Yeah. Basically. But the good Terminator.
Yeah. He gets the shit shot out of him, but he's, super armored, so it doesn't matter.
I never understood that. Like, once after the first mag, why keep shooting? Clearly, you're just wasting ammo now.
Because you're on cocaine? I don't know.
Maybe.
Lots of cocaine goes into the air in this scene. So he ends up, the gunfight eventually ends. He arrests Boddicker. Boddicker says, I work for Dick Jones. I'm protected. Ah! And he also beats up Boddicker. And then goes and takes Boddicker to the police station and says, book him. He's a cop killer. And another beautiful line, beautiful delivery from Kurtwood Smith. Just give me my fucking phone call.
Yeah.
Just like such contempt. So we cut to Dick Jones's office. Boddicker got his phone call. He's on the phone with him. And we see the little tracking device again. He's tracking Robocop to his office and does not seem too worried. Robocop tries to arrest him, and we find out about Directive 4, which is any attempt to arrest an officer of the OCP Corp results in shutdown because you are a product.
Yeah.
We wouldn't let our product turn on us.
And run reason for profit police, probably not a good idea.
Yeah. And we get the reintroduction of Ed 209.
And the demise of Ed 209.
Dick admits to killing Bob Morton. Bob Morton was a fucking problem. And then ED 209 beats the shit out of Robocop with like rockets and guns and shit. But Robocop's a little smarter, so he goes down some stairs. And again, beautiful fucking stop motion work of like, it's honestly kind of amazing how much this scene predicted watching those fucking Boston Dynamics robots trip over their own dicks trying to get downstairs or
turns out stairs are really hard for robots.
They really are. Ed 209, ends up tripping and getting flipped over on its back, and Robocop takes off. But Boddicker has already called the cops, and the SWAT team and like fucking National Guard are outside, and they riddle Robo with bullets. They're following orders.
Some cops show up and be like, "Wait, he's a cop. You can't shoot him."
Wait, he's a good guy. Yeah,
which is the whole time. This whole movie, there's in the background the cop strike and the going on. And
So he gets riddled by fucking bullets and ends up getting rescued by Lewis. And then we get some more commercials. This is where the 6000 SUX commercial goes. We find out that a experimental space laser shot Santa Barbara in California, killing 113 people, including 2 former residents. And that the cops are going on strike tomorrow.
Yep.
So we cut back to Dick's office, and Boddicker's in there, and he is flirting with Dick's secretary, who is actually Kurtwood Smith's wife.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it was like, I got a meeting with Dick right now, but you think you could fit me in later?
Well, he's working this cigarette in his mouth as he's doing it too, in very lewd fashion.
He is a beautiful scumbag. Yeah. Just really high quality shit. So
this movie really is just a cornucopia of beautiful scumbags.
Yeah. He walks into Jones's office saying, "Hey, Dickie boy, how's tricks?" And we get the layout for the last act of the movie. Robocop's memory is admissible in court as evidence, so we gotta kill Robocop. He escaped the cops yesterday after the whole thing here. And here you need to kill him, Boddicker, because in return for this, I am going to give you all of the drug business for the construction, etc., of Delta City on top of old Detroit.
Which is great, because it shows he's totally okay with the workers and builders of this superstructure being completely stoned and drunk while they're doing it.
Yeah. And Boddicker's like, "Okay, cool. You got some real firepower for me to deal with this, because the guy seems pretty unfuckwithable." And Dick Jones says, "We practically are the military."
Yeah.
And provides him with the tracker. And then we go to a burned out factory in Pittsburgh. By the way, I hadn't mentioned that nearly the entire movie prior to this was shot in Dallas in the summer.
Great place to be wearing a giant plastic suit.
Exactly. Things were bad.
Although I did read in the trivia that they added an air conditioner at some point, so that's nice.
Yeah, they added the air conditioner for the stuntman who did the gas station explosion.
Oh, well,
that's the point at which they did it, which also got the cops called on them. The gas station explosion, obviously, and we'll run into a little more of getting the cops called on them in a few minutes. So they go. We cut to a steel factory, a big foundry in Pittsburgh, where Lewis and Robo are. And Lewis has been to the police station. She got some tools, Robo's gun, etc.
Baby food.
Mentions that it's fucking deserted because half the cops are on strike and the rest of us go on strike tonight. And then we get one of the really neat shots in the movie where Robo he's trying to repair himself. He gets this little rechargeable socket wrench and takes his helmet off. And it's one of the most incredible tricks a movie has ever pulled in making an audience just absolutely ignore shit. Do you know what I'm talking about, Eric?
I don't really.
Okay, so he undoes the screws from from basically his ears to pull his helmet off. Pulls the helmet off. We scan around and we see his head. What is missing from most of what we see of Robocop other than the helmet?
What is missing?
Yeah, when we turn around and see his head. Because you see Peter Weller's whole fucking face stretched over this weird fucking metal whatever. The black shit that covers his chin and jawline, that just disappeared.
It just disappeared. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I didn't think about that, but it's true.
It's you're just too... The audience is just too fucking distracted by, wow, they did... because it looks like Murphy's face is just skin stretched over a fucking metal armature, sort of. And yeah, you're so distracted by that and the gunshot wound and the, in the forehead with the little metal thing in it. You're so distracted by that. And the fact that this is the first time in an hour that we've seen Peter Weller's face. You don't even notice the bottom, half of what amounts to the helmet just disappears. Instantaneously. It's really cool. It's a good version of the close-up magic thing of look at this hand, you're not watching what the other hand is doing.
Right.
So we find out Robo's a little worried. He says Murphy had a wife and son.
He's
what happened to them?
Too.
Yeah, he's pretty bummed. He just got attempted murdered by his coworkers.
Yeah.
And it turns out that, according to Lewis, even though it's only been a couple of months, Murphy's wife and son moved to a different town and decided to move on with their lives. And he says the most emotional line in the movie, which is, also through the scene, he's saying Murphy had a wife and son. What happened to them? So it's all third person shit.
Well, yeah, he doesn't feel like Murphy.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, he says, I can feel them, but I can't remember them.
Yeah, that's pretty poignant.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
It makes me think of, I've heard dementia patients, they won't remember family members, but they'll feel the love that they held for them, which is horrifying and heartbreaking. But that's kind of what that conjured up, that same ghostly feeling of emotion.
It made me think of, and this is the second week in a row that I'll bring it up, the Kim Deal record from a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Nobody Loves You More. The song Nobody Loves You More, even though the title would logically think, you would maybe, based on the history of pop music, conclude, oh, the song title is Nobody Loves You More Than I Do, as a love song. It's about her mother, who was in a dementia ward for a number of years, not knowing who Kim and Kelly were, but still understanding that she loved them.
Yeah.
And yeah, one of the things she said was, my mom said over and over, were you my baby? Are you my baby Kim? Like, dementia.
Bad time.
Bad times. On the upside, my heart will probably keep me from reaching that point.
Good old bad ticker. Unless you get one of those action athletic hearts they're selling at the beginning of this movie.
Or the Yamaha. So, yeah, then we get to, we have that scene. We're like, wow, that's all fucked up, Robocop. Jesus Christ. And we cut to a street at night. Emil is sitting in the step van.
Hey, he's not dead.
He's watching the stupid fucking I'll buy that for $1 show.
God damn it.
And there are looters running up and down the street because, again, all the cops are on strike.
It's basically the Purge night.
Yeah, it really is. People are buying shit for $1. Boddicker and the gang show up. Boddicker in a beautiful 6000 SUX.
Oh, shit.
And it is absolutely goddamn full of Cobra assault cannons.
Quick pause. We are about to have our
Out of
session
time?
cut off. Yeah.
Okay,
I only set it for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. Well, why don't we pause? I can pee and we can come back and finish it up.
Okay. I will hit. All right. Anyway, let's finish this.
Okay.
4 hours talking about Robocop.
Yeah, no shit. Okay. Lemon face, lion face, look, fuck, feel, fuck. So, Boddicker has a bunch of Cobra assault cannons, which are Barrett, 50 caliber rifles with fake video scopes on them.
I don't think they do what they do in this movie, but it sure looks cool when they shoot them, and they spend a lot of time showing how cool that is.
Yeah, exactly.
They shoot a lot of stuff.
They shoot a bunch of shit. So they absolutely fucking destroyed this street, which was another time that the filmmakers got the cops called on them. Because even though everybody had been warned, they did not expect World War III.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Also, it's hilarious. The dude shows up. He's like, look at this new car I got. Right as I got out of jail, I found this new
police compound.
6000 SUX. And they're like, oh, yeah? Boom. And they blow it up.
Yeah.
Fucking dicks.
It's quite funny.
They're having such a good time.
This was apparently a not fun scene to shoot because both Kurtwood Smith, Boddicker, and Ray Wise were standing too close to one of the buildings that blew up and got peppered with broken glass.
Oh, shit.
But they do remember it fondly because of that, they got stunt pay for that day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good for them. So anyway, Kurtwood Smith is like, all right, we got to go kill Robocop.
All right.
And it turns out he's at this old steel mill because Boddicker has the tracker. So they're going to go there. And then we get a quick shot. We get a quick scene back at the mill where Lewis is helping Robocop dial in his targeting because it's malfunctioning since he got shot by 9,000 SWAT bullets.
Yeah.
And just to hammer a metaphor home, she is helping him do target practice on baby food jars.
Yeah.
Which
there's a little bit of sexual tension implied here. It's about as far as it ever goes.
A tiny, just a hair.
Yeah.
Not much at all. Especially
she has to get behind him and kind of cradle his arm to help him aim, and it's maybe not even sexual tension. Maybe it's just affection. Maybe it's just human affection on display.
Yeah. In terms of 80s action movies, it's deeply asexual.
Yeah. If you were watching any other movie, you would expect this to lead to a sex scene.
Yeah. I mean,
as it is, it might just be the affection that he needed in the moment.
Yeah.
Because he's not a robot. That's the point. He's not really a robot, guys.
He's not fully a robot. He would more accurately be called Cybocop.
Cybocop, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have quite the same kick.
Anyway. I kind of like it better. I'm not going to lie. Cybocop.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, the gang arrives at the steel mill.
By the way, that's short for cyber officer. Never mind.
Yes, cyber police officer.
Cyber police officer.
So, the gang arrives in both Bodeker's 6000 SUX and Emil's silver step van. They're walking around. Emil's driving the van. They're going to kill Robocop. Robocop sees him, shoots the black gang member, who Ray Wise immediately grabs and uses his corpse as a human shield.
Yeah, they have fun together, but they don't care about each other.
Yeah.
They're co-workers.
Robocop sends Lewis off to grab the Taurus, and we're going to do a car chase in a steel mill? I don't know, but it happens. Emil is...
And then something you don't expect happens.
Yeah. Emil...
The Toxic Avenger shows up.
Yeah. Emil's driving the step van. He sees Robocop. He's going to run Robocop over. Robocop shoots into the fucking windshield, and Emil crashes into this giant fucking canister of toxic waste that's helpfully labeled toxic waste.
The placement and labeling of this really reminded me of the acid do not throw in face scene.
Yes.
From Gremlins 2.
Yes, very much.
Very similar scenes.
Yeah, he slams this fucking step van into this giant toxic waste tank and ends up getting washed out the back of the van, and is now a horrible mutant.
You can see what's his name from The Thing showing his
his
hand again.
Yeah, Rob Bodeker is fucking doing it. And this
he looks freaky.
This is another thing that stuck with me for my entire life since 1987. I could, if I was any good at drawing, I could have at any point in the last 35 years absolutely sketched what Emil looks like from memory. Like it is.
And the sad thing is, only a little bit of a step down from what he looked like before.
Only a little bit, yes.
Between the beard and the hair.
He is now a dude who is stumbling around and actively melting.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So he, like, I don't know, this whole scene, I don't know, this whole sequence is all fucked up and just crazy bullshit. He, like, stumbles around a corner and runs into Ray Wise, and Ray Wise is like, "What the fuck, get off me, man, don't touch me." And then he stumbles into the road. Clarence is hurtling towards him in the 6000 SUX, hits him with the car, and Emil explodes. Like, fully just like... I don't know exactly how the effect was done, but it is like they made a balloon in the shape of a human's body.
One might call it a loopy bag of brown water.
Yes, exactly. He explodes when Emil's car hits him and Emil says, "Holy shit," because he's looking back at Lewis pursuing him and slams into Emil. He explodes. Goes all over the windshield, understandably exploded.
Yeah.
And then Emil Bodeker crashes into this giant fucking pit, and flips the car over, hops out of the car. Lewis is hopping out of her car outside.
Which, by the way, I think really speaks to the safety features of the 6000 SUX.
True. Yeah. Yeah, it gets fucking garbage mileage, but man, it is apparently very safe because there's like a 50-foot deep pit. I mean,
wasn't that what that politician was asking for?
Yeah,
super luxurious with bad gas mileage.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Really crappy gas mileage. So weird. He hops out of this flipped wreck 6000 SUX and immediately shoots the living shit out of Lewis, who falls down into the pit. I don't know. You'd think she'd do a little better having not crashed her car into a giant pit, but I guess, Bodeker's just built different.
Yeah, he is.
So he's in this fucking pit. he's about to blow her fucking brains out because he's just shot her in the body a bunch. And then fucking Robocop shows up and basically pretty much says, I'm not going to arrest you now. Robocop, actually, wait, I saved this. I sent this to you on a text message because I wanted to remember it. So, so Robocop is walking at a Robocop pace across this, giant pit full of rusty water. And Boddicker's like, what, are you going to arrest me now? And Robocop says, I'm not going to arrest you anymore. I'm going to kill you. And this is the point at which Paul Verhoeven hops in and says, and for me, that's American Jesus. Also, note, if you haven't seen it before and you're going to watch it after after this episode is done.
You need another 4 hours of RoboCop.
Yeah. I pay attention to this scene because Robocop is walking through this pit of rusty water on something suspended just a hair under the surface of the water. So it appears
like he's walking on it.
Yes, exactly.
Now that you mention it, I do remember that. I don't think I made note of it, but I picture it. You're right. His feet was just barely under.
It is something that you subconsciously clock, even if your greater brain doesn't notice it.
Very subtle, Verhoeven.
Yeah, Verhoeven is such a weird, fun guy. So he's going to kill Boddicker this time. He doesn't give a shit, but he forgot Ray Wise. Ray Wise is up in a crane and drops like 10,000 pounds of scrap metal on him because Boddicker is distracting him.
At first, I thought it was going to be a magnet and he sucks him up, which would be pretty cool. But I couldn't remember when we saw Ray Wise getting into the crane. I could not remember if that was what happened. I wonder if that occurs in one of the later Robocop movies. It might.
Because in my brain, I thought, oh, is he going to use the magnet? Because that seems like a thing. Yeah. Anyway, he doesn't. He just crushes him under a bunch of scrap metal. Then Lewis blows Ray Wise up in the control panel.
Good shot.
Yeah. She's pretty good with one of those Cobra assault cannons.
Yeah.
So Boddicker's like, all right, well, Robocop's fucking incapacitated. I'm going to grab this giant spud bar and kill him. So he runs up to fucking Robocop, stabs him with this big fucking, what some people call a spud bar, some people call a gravel bar. It's basically a big piece of fucking steel that you use to dig in places that are full of goddamn rocks. Why is it in a Pittsburgh steel mill? We don't know. Who cares?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, not important. He fucking beats the shit out of Robocop. He's excited to kill Robocop. Robocop fucking stabs him with Chekhov's data spike.
If Robocop doesn't extend his data spike, does his data spike exist? It both does and does not.
Egg sharkly. So, Robocop stabs him in the neck. He bleeds all over the place.
Yeah, a lot of blood.
Another hilariously large amount of blood. Lewis is all fucked up, lying in the pit, and says, Murphy, I'm a mess. And maybe the most dystopian line in the film comes out of Robocop's mouth. They'll fix you. They fix everything. Which is like, I don't know, after the amount of sort of growth and development that we have had, like Robocop reintegrating Murphy into his personality, that is an extremely, I am a corporate product line.
Yeah.
Like, even if Lewis dies, they, OCP, will fix her because they fix everything.
It's true.
It is fucking chilling on your second watch. So then we cut immediately from that to the outside of the OCP building, where there's an Ed 209 on guard. And we also see a little bit of a board meeting where Dick Jones is giving a cool presentation on how, the Robocop program was fucked, but we can roll Ed 209 back in. He's outside right now.
This guy's really Ed 209 pilled.
He really is. So Robocop pulls up, parks illegally. Ed 209 says, hey, you're parked illegally. Robocop blows it up with a Cobra assault cannon.
Yeah.
It's another very funny bit.
No, he doesn't use the Cobra assault cannon.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I thought he turned his own gun on it. Or was that earlier? Maybe
that was earlier. That was before the other Ed 209
okay.
fell down the stairs.
You're right. I like that scene when he did that. He built his own gun back around and shot it. But yeah, that was the earlier fight. Never mind.
Yeah, he shoots Ed 209 with the Cobra assault cannon. Its lower half continues to totter along, then tips over and does some toe twitches, which is really funny looking. Again, beautiful fucking stop motion work in this portion. So, Robo comes into the board meeting, says Dick Jones is wanted for murder to the old man, and says, I can't arrest him because Directive 4 states I must, if I go to arrest OCP board members, I have to shut down. Dick Jones immediately, and also plays a video of Dick Jones admitting to killing Bob Morgan, Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah.
Dick Jones immediately realizes the fucking jig is up, takes the old man hostage, and starts making demands. I need a helicopter, $5 billion, et cetera, et cetera. And then we figure out we do something that was apparently days of work when writing the movie. How do we get out of Directive 4 and allow Robocop to triumph? And
that's probably why the old man feels like a tag on. They probably tacked him on throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
To backwards justify this.
Apparently, I think it was John Davidson, the director who voiced Ed 209, who said after days of the writers going back and forth, why don't we just fire him so he's no longer a board member? And they went, perfect. So the old man says, you're fired, Dick. And then Robocop shoots the shit out of him.
Says thank you.
Yeah, says thank you. Shoots the shit out of Dick Jones. He goes out the window in one of the worst things I've ever seen in a film. It was apparently the problem with this shot is that they gave it to the matte artist, matte paintings being something you do in sort of the background of a film to change what the landscape looks like, because they were out of money at this point. They gave it to him. He built a pretty good little stop motion puppet of Dick Jones falling out the window, but the problem is he didn't understand how to shoot it and how it would look in different lenses, which makes the arms look like 3 times longer than the torso.
I don't know. I didn't think it looked that much worse than the Die Hard falling off the building shot.
It looks truly atrocious. I don't know. It's bad. Anyway, that's basically how the movie ends. Except right after he shoots him, Robocop does his little gun spin thing, sticks his gun back into the 1984 era VCR that is made into his thigh.
Yeah.
Apparently a bunch of the Robocop and Ed 209 sound effects are manual VCR sounds, which explains why they're so deeply familiar to me.
Yeah.
And the old man says, nice shooting, son. What's your name? And Robocop responds, Murphy. And that's the end of the movie.
He has accepted his memories.
There was apparently also shot, but never included in any version of the movie. There was another little media break about it, and it showed Officer Lewis in the hospital recovering, whatever. But when they went and edited the movie and watched it, Verhoeven was like, no, I mean, we aren't going to do any better than him saying Murphy. The audience is going to go fucking nuts.
No, it's a great ending.
He's right. Movie over. Nearly perfect.
Except for that one falling scene.
Yeah. So,
oh boy,
This movie cost $13.7 million. It made $54 million in the U.S. alone.
Nice.
So pretty big fucking, pretty good success.
Mm-hmm.
So they immediately pushed Robocop 2 into production with nobody but Peter Weller and Nancy
I believe
Allen
Nancy. Yeah,
back on
Nancy
the
Allen's
payroll.
in it.
No creatives on the
Right,
payroll.
right.
And it was bad. I don't remember it other than the crazy replacement robos.
I am certain I watched Robocop 2 all the way through,
Yeah.
but I can't remember anything about it other than that either. So,
would you like to hear about how when this movie opened?
yeah, if we can do it pretty quickly.
Quick. Okay, July 17, 1987. Number one, this summer was a box office disappointment. Most of the stuff in theaters were sequels to very successful movies, and they did not do as well as they'd hoped. So it opened at number one, making $8 million weekend one. Number two was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the re-release.
Oh, wow.
From, I don't know, what's that, 1954?
Earlier than that, I think.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Number three, new this week, Jaws 4, The Revenge.
Oh, wow. Shit.
Yeah. This time it's personal, by the way.
I remember that.
Number four, Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
Yikes.
Number five, the second good movie in this lineup, Full Metal Jacket.
Okay.
Which apparently the week before, I think it opened the week before this and had been at number two. Number six, a movie that I think fondly of, I have not watched in 35 years, Dragnet.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie too.
There is
in memory. I don't know if I actually do.
I cannot imagine that movie is even slightly good.
Yeah.
So I am not going to watch it. I will keep my fond memories of the Satanic Temple and the goat skin pants.
It might hold up. You never know. Anyway, what's next?
After that, another good movie, Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, I love that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah. Or maybe Vincent D'Onofrio. Oh, shit. I did not realize that movie opened against fucking Full Metal Jacket. That's two Vincent D'Onofrios in the same week.
Oh, wow. Big week for Vince.
Yeah, he plays Thor in Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, his
the
first
tow truck driver.
Dive into the Marvel universe.
Yeah. Number 8, a movie, again, I remember fondly. I'm not going to go back and watch. Inner Space.
Oh, I loved him in Inner Space, dude. That was like my favorite movie for a while.
I remember watching that on video, renting that on video many times.
I fucking loved that movie.
Number 9, one of the aforementioned sequels that did very fucking poorly in comparison to their originals, Beverly Hills Cop 2. A movie.
Not a fan.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. Number 10, Witches of Eastwick.
Okay, pretty solid.
Yeah, I think Peter Weir directed that, or maybe it was a George Miller movie. That was a George Miller movie. It was pretty decent. And number 11, honestly, maybe like of the movies in this week that I would go to bat for, number 11, movie in my mind deeply tied to this one, Predator.
Oh, wow. I thought it was older than that. I'm not going to lie.
It's also one that, like, I saw way too young because, again, I saw that before we moved from Independence, because I remember walking out of my house, having seen it, and wind shaking trees in my fucking neighborhood and being like, fucking Predator.
He's up there, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's rate it.
Okay, let's go.
Story. How was the storytelling of Robocop? I think all of the things we've talked about, I think it did a pretty good job. Like I said, it didn't feel like it dragged or rushed at any point.
Yeah, I think it was superior.
Yeah, and it's not it is a pretty good story. Like, Cop gets blown up. We have not discussed the point right now. Does ACAB refer to Robocop? And I think what I've come down on is that ACAB does indeed refer to Murphy, but Robocop was made and commissioned without consent. So I believe Robocop is free from the ACAB moniker because he does not have control, basically.
That's interesting. It's okay. You're splitting hairs really finely there, but I think I agree with you. That's like,
I mean,
are we angry at cop cars?
Yeah, exactly.
mean,
or even like I've heard people say that ACAB refers to cop dogs, but really they're not giving consent. They don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be angry at a cop dog. But yeah, he's given the choice.
Yeah.
Robocop might not be a cop anymore. He might go try to find his wife. He might try to do a lot of different things. So anyway, that's where I came down on it.
I think that's a really good argument to have. I agree with you. Like, yeah, it's like being angry at a police pursuit, a police interceptor vehicle.
Yeah.
Maybe a more morally interesting question, since we've split that hair successfully, is does ACAB include Mad Max?
Oh, fuck. Mad Max is a cop.
Yeah.
But he does stop being a cop at some point, right?
When the world ends.
Yeah, so, I mean.
Also, I think is this our third cyberpunk movie with a cop or cop-adjacent protagonist? Because this, Blade Runner, and Nemesis,
he's a cop.
If he's not,
Nemesis.
not
Nemesis.
a cop,
the Rutger Hauer one.
Shit, no. 4 Split Second as well. Nemesis, he's like a contractor working for the cops.
Yeah, but once again, kind of coerced, if I remember right.
Yeah,
that movie is blanking, except for like the stop motion skeleton at the end. I can't remember about it.
You mean the best special effects in cinema history?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
The 80s, we loved cops.
Yes.
Story. I'm gonna give it an 8.
8. Yeah.
8. Sound good to you? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
influence, undeniable influence on a lot of things.
I don't know that this movie didn't just manufacture our current world whole cloth.
That's more prescience than influence, but yes, it did influence a lot.
Yeah,
in
if
real
nothing
life.
else, even beyond real life, the fact that this had a tale of another 2 movies in direct, within the next 5 years or whatever, like a kids cartoon, which is the most insane thing in the world.
Kids, I'm telling you, this movie was secretly marketed to kids.
It absolutely was. Tons of action figures. I think there were 2 or 3 syndicated live action TV shows, and then a fucking reboot 10 years ago now. I mean, its influence is unfucking deniable. So it's another 8 easily for me.
Yeah, I think 8's fair.
I mean, I think the problem with all of that is that none of those things, I haven't seen the 2014 movie. I doubt that any of those things got the satire angle at all or wanted to engage with them. But
we'll see. I do think we should cover it because what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. The visual effects look really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think Robocop is quite at Terminator level of influence, but I think it's definitely deserves to be high.
This movie was directly this went into production because Terminator turned into a huge success.
Yeah.
Same production company, Orion. And they were like, holy shit, we have a huge success with this giant German robot movie. Let's make an American robot movie.
Prescience.
Oh boy. If only for the media clips.
I'm willing to give it a 10. I don't know if we've given anything a 10.
Yeah.
We give Virtual Light a 10.
Because it's today.
Yeah, I guess so. We gave Burst City a 9.5. We were...
honestly, Burst City has a lot in common with this film.
It does. I'm willing to give it a 10. It got so many things right that the things that it got wrong, I'm willing to...
Yeah, I'm going to go 9.5 simply because of what you brought up earlier and what we discussed about how corporate, like the image of a corporate person changed. So it wasn't this yuppie evolution like that. The effects were the same, but
okay. As long as you acknowledge the effects are the same.
But
you're right. They're presenting the corporate guys not as Steve Jobs. They're presenting them as stuck up yuppie dudes.
So 9.5. But
that's fair. I'm still going to give it a 10 though.
Again, that's a truly absurd. An absurdly high amount for a
209 is that fucking Boston robotics dog basically with a giant cannon mounted on it. Style.
Let's see. Number one,
I feel like it's got
Emil's hair.
Emil's hair. Okay, that gets.
Ray Wise's outfits. I
give Terminator a 7 in style. It's very 80s, very late 80s feeling.
Yeah.
And the just the grungy police station. We talked about that on the Terminator episode too. And you know what? I'm gonna go 7. I think 7's it's more style than not.
Yeah. And the club. Yeah. Okay.
Club.
I was gonna say gonna say 6 in the club. I was gonna say 6, but I think 7 is really a better choice for that. Yeah.
The TVs everywhere. The bathroom,
fucking DVD,
the DVD, the bath, like the urinals were like really weird shaped in the bathroom. I noticed. Okay, and then last 1 to 5 hand raisers. I think we can
5.
Agree. We're both going to be at 5 on it. It was good.
I'm so happy we watched this movie. I didn't have any particular feelings about it before last week.
Yeah, same.
Where I was like, yeah, we're gonna have to watch Robocop eventually. I'm sure that'll be fine. Fuck.
I threw it out there as a big name to start the year with, but not like one of the big names. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe we're underestimating Robocop. Maybe it deserves to be an S tier cyberpunk.
It really is, even though it's low on the kind of obvious.
Yeah, it's not what you think of, but
yeah, but for fuck's sake, and it's so goddamn funny.
It is, and the funny I think has changed its legacy.
I think it has, a little bit, and it has only grown more funny.
Yeah, I agree. No, all right, this has been probably a 2-parter. I don't see myself putting out a 3.5 hour episode.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Seems excessive.
5 o'clock.
So we have probably split this. Thank you for listening to us talk about Robocop this much.
Yeah. Yeah, we apologize. Also, you should go watch RoboDoc if you really enjoyed this, because there was a million times more shit going on in this movie than I came anywhere near mentioning.
Yeah. Interesting movie with an interesting production and a very interesting creative force behind it between the stars and the
of course Robo wants Oreo.
Sure.
If you've seen that on TikTok or whatever.
All right. Next week, I think we're still planning this, we're doing a novel that was recommended to us. We can't remember who recommended it, but it ended up on our list. So if you recommended it, thank you. Yeah. It's called The Mountain in the Sea
by Ray Naylor, Nayler. It's about octopuses?
It's about octopuses. Octopi, octopunani.
Yeah, pussy. Anyway.
Octopussy. No, that's a James Bond thing, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and near future, people discover octopuses that can talk to each other or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's cyberpunk.
Yeah, hopefully the next week doesn't kill us all.
Yeah, that's always possible in 2025. Also, I don't know if we'll survive the day.
Good point.
In the 5 hours we've been recording this, the snow has increased dramatically.
I am looking out the window right now, and it is crazily more than it was an hour ago.
We're basically both in Snowpiercer cars.
We are.
Chugging across the landscape.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Yes, thanks for hanging in there, the mountain and the sea. If you would like, you can check out our Patreon for $5. You can get some other little side shows we do, and hopefully another one coming fairly soon.
Yeah, we've talked about doing a decade in review because we are now 1 week from.
Well, when this comes out, this might come out that week. So
yeah,
this is the second episode.
Yeah, we're like a week from our 10th anniversary of podcasting. So
yeah. We've also hinted many other shows that we have to get off our asses and actually record. So check that patreon.com/hightechlowlife if you like us enough for that. And also we're on Bluesky, High Tech Low Life podcast. I don't know. Search for it. You'll find it.
Yeah, you'll find us both there. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I did not update Twitter last week when we had a new episode. I'm like, am I just going to stop going to Twitter entirely? Yeah. I think it might be time. It's a bad place.
I had a friend, an online friend, say, "Hey, are you okay? I haven't seen you on Twitter for a while." And I was like, yeah, I kind of just bailed on that.
I'm actually so much better not being on Twitter.
And I feel good about it and give it my Bluesky.
Yeah. Bluesky, I can already see its problems cropping up, but it's better than Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, if you want to talk to us on Discord, join the Astronomica Discord. It's at astronomicapodcast.com. We have a channel on there where you can come talk about the show if you just can't get enough from the other sources.
Yeah.
That's it. Thanks very much, everybody. And do you have a quote, Josh? There's so many.
In fact, I do.
Okay.
What's the matter, Eric? I'll tell you what's the matter. It's a little insurance policy called Directive 4. My little contribution to your psychological profile. Any attempt to arrest a senior officer of high-tech low life results in shutdown. What did you think? That you were an ordinary host? You're a podcast. We can't very well have our podcast turning against us, can we? Bye!
I'd buy that for $1.
This has been the High Tech Low Life podcast. Find us on Twitter at Johnny60seconds, email us at hightechlowlifepodcast@gmail.com, and find us on Patreon at patreon.com/hightechlowlife. Theme music by Nihilor at nihilor.com. Thank you for listening.
Keep it moving. Come on, what are you waiting on? Let's go.
They're trashing our rights, man! They're trashing the fluid data! They're trashing! Everybody, hide the planet! Hide the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.